what would you say that the application process entails? What kind of work do you need to see, and how is that presented to you? You can start with USC.
Oh, me again, huh? Our application process is two-pronged. You have to get into the university and you have to get into the school. You can get into one but not the other, and you won't get in at all. Well, let me take that back. If you get into the university, you go in as undeclared. If you don't get into the school, you're undeclared. And I've confused you all. The university application, we use the Common App, which, do you guys use the Common App?
Yes.
And
how many of you guys use the Common App? Go ahead and raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so every other one. Okay.
So we use the Common App for the university, which is your straightforward essays, your reference letters and so forth. But then to apply to the School of Cinematic Arts, we actually have supplemental materials, which I think most of the other schools will have too. There's different essays, visual samples, examples of your writing and your thinking. So what was the question? Again?
Oh, in terms of the application process, how is that delivered to you? What is it exactly that a student has to make or prepare or give to you?
So it's those elements, and all of this is online, but everything's submitted electronically. We don't take hard portfolios. We don't take DVDs anymore. Everything is uploaded. We use Vimeo a lot. Students will submit their visual samples that way. And then the process itself is set up so that the university reviews your application and makes a decision. Then we review your creative supplemental materials, and we make a decision. And if we don't necessarily agree, we have a meeting with the school, and we go back and forth on what we're going to do, and we usually get our way. But like I said, sometimes we don't meet, and maybe you're not quite ready to come into the School of Cinematic Arts, but the university likes you, so you'll be admitted as undeclared, and you can apply to transfer into the school, which it's easier to get in to transferring in internally. So if you get an offer, I would take it, because you're still trying to get a good education. And you can still take film classes at electives and so forth. So.
Yeah, thank you.
To better answer this question, if I could just get a show of hands, the School of Film Video at CalArts has animation programs as well as live action programs. Are there students interested in animation in the crowd? And then live action, the rest of you? Okay. So CalArts' admissions process is program specific. So for undergrads in the School of Film Video, we have Bachelor's of Fine Arts programs in character animation, experimental animation, and program film video. For character animation, we need to see a lot of strong draftsmanship skills. We need to see strong drawers, students who are doing a lot of observational drawing, who are very creative, artistic in expressing themselves through charcoal, pen, pastel, paper. Experimental animation, we want to see a curious student who's trying many different art mediums, painting, drawing, film video, stop motion. And then for program film video, we ask for 10 minutes of film video work of the students' choosing. I highly recommend work that's personally inspired, so nothing like a commercial or a PSA that's for a product or for something else. Students really focusing on the stuff that they're doing outside of class. And then an extensive written portfolio. We ask for things like a project plan, a list of influences, books, plays, film, artwork, television that they're inspired by. And then all of this, for the portfolio, and then the general admissions requirements, an online application, an application fee, 2 letters of recommendation, official transcripts, and an artist statement. We don't require standardized testing, so SAT, ACT, you don't have to send us your scores.
Yay.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to describe our application process to our major. The major is film, television, and digital media. First off, and the one thing, if you don't remember anything that I say tonight, our film program is a 2-year program. So what that means is students cannot apply to the program out of high school. So it's a 2-year majors only. Students need to first complete their first 2 years of college either in a different major at UCLA or at a different university or community college and get their general education classes done. So what we're looking for in our applicants is that when you start the program in your junior year at UCLA, you will be completely done with all of your general education courses and you'll immediately start taking your film courses. So with that said, that's 2-year program. Can't apply, it's not a 4-year program. Once you do apply, though, you would do first the UC application. This is for if you're off campus, say at a community college. You would first do the UC application, indicate film as your first choice major, and then you submit your supplemental materials to us the first week of January. Those supplemental materials include a personal essay, a critical essay, and a creative writing sample. Unlike CalArts, we do not accept any DVDs, any videotapes. We don't necessarily require you to have made any films, and if you did make films, we will not accept them. So please do not submit any films. And then we will evaluate all of your writing samples, those 3 writing samples, and we also ask for 2 letters of recommendation. So really, we're basing your admission to the program based on these 3 writing samples and the 2 letters of recommendation, and then we decide whether or not, the film department decide whether or not you get accepted to UCLA. We tell UCLA undergraduate admission, these are the 30 students we want to accept to the program, and then they do what we say. Ta-da.
All right, thank you. And for Long Beach?
Yeah, Cal State Long Beach, we're essentially a 2-year program as well. So basically, you can come in as a native freshman, take a few lower division film courses, declare yourself as pre-film and electronic arts. And we offer 2 undergraduate degrees, one called Theory and Practice of Cinema, which is heavier on history and theory courses, and then has specialized training in several areas such as screenwriting, editing, production management, documentary, broadcast. Then we have a narrative production track. So in your sophomore year, if you want to get into narrative production, that is competitive and that requires a submission of a portfolio, which usually involves DVDs, scripts, things like that. That is reviewed by our faculty. And generally, we take anywhere from around 40 people each year for a narrative production track. So within our program, about 3/4 of the students are in theory and practice of cinema, where they're taking production courses and history and theory courses. And about 1/4 are in this narrative production, which is much more heavy in production courses.
Thank you. What about Chapman?
Well, and just to generally note, you'll find pretty much every film school is going to ask for something different. So make sure you're paying attention to all of the directions and things that we're asking of you, because we do notice if you're submitting something for another school, so just a little tidbit.
If I can ask something really quickly, if you guys can raise your hand, do you get submissions where people aren't paying attention, students are not listening, and you get the things you don't want?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very important that they listen and that you know exactly, make a checklist for each university you want to go to know exactly what they want, so that you're not just kind of sending out like, you know, a resume, here's my stuff to everybody, it's the same thing.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
So just, but as far as Chapman, we are, I guess, a more 4-year program. So you do start into the major, you know, when you're applying straight into Chapman. So you apply to Chapman through the Common App, and you have a supplement for Dodge College. So we actually have 8 majors within our school, and everyone is a little different for what we require on the application. So without taking too much time, essentially it's a 4-part application. The first one being a written essay on something you're passionate about. We ask for a creative resume, so a listing of some of your creative projects that you've done. And letter of recommendation from someone that can comment specifically on your creativity. And then the 4th piece is major specific. So for example, for film production, which is our most popular, which is directing, cinematography, editing, we ask for a 2-minute video. Basically tell us about yourself in 2 minutes. You're just not allowed to be in the video. And then all of the other pieces kind of fit into what you're applying for. So for screenwriting, you write a short story. For film studies, you do a film critique. So again, it's specific, so we're really kind of honing into your skills in that area and what you want to do. And we actually review applications first. They're reviewed by our faculty. We make our recommendation, and then admissions reviews, and we make our decision. And again, I would say we agree most of the time, and that our opinion does kind of also heavily weight into the decision. And for us, transferring in as an outside student is more difficult. So coming in as an incoming freshman is a lot easier than trying to come in as an outside student in your sophomore and junior year, just because our programs are, for the most part, all pretty impacted. So it's doable, but it's difficult.